Greetings and welcome to Star Trek Discovery Pod, a sometimes funny trying to be smart podcast covering all things new and classic Trek. Agreed. I'm your captain, Mariah Gossett, and with me on the view screen we have
Clyde Haynes. That is what I was going to do. I was going to say
you could disagree.
Agree, disagree.
Whoa, whoa. Well, I made water. Pause to touch it here.
Indeed. Mike is in the sick bay. He will be back to join us soon. I hope he feels better. Tonight, we are discussing and recapping Terrarium, which was directed by Andrew Coots and written by Alan B. McElroy. But before we dive in, we just wanted to shout out a couple of reminders of how you can support this show. Paul, how can people do that?
I'm here to remind our listeners to subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. All links are at StarTrekPod.co. And if you could, and you would, and you'd like, consider joining our Patreon to get access to our great Slack community.
For just $2 an episode. Pew, pew.
Yes, they were watching Terrarium before the podcast. A little
hanging out. I know they're
nice
deep in some Voyager rewatches. It's all happening over there. And if folks are hanging out with us on YouTube Live tonight, how should they interact? If there's something they want us to pay attention to, Clyde, what should people do?
It's really going to depend on whether or not they can take a tricorder and then manufacture it into a universal translator. Then you can just type agree or disagree into the chat and we'll know what you're talking about, kinda, with a little clicks, and we'll be there. No, seriously, type capital P, capital O, capital D, capital pod in the chat, and we'll take a look at your thoughts, your questions, your concerns, your musings, your inquiries, your, raptor noises. We'll take a look at them all. And in a moment, when you want to give us your overall thoughts of the show, just type a capital H, capital F, capital HF in the chat, and we will take a look at your thoughts about this episode.
Indeed. Okay, I think it's time for us to jump in. Get ready for some It's time for some hot freaks.
Yeah,
Paul, what did you think about this episode?
I thought it was good enough. Now, I have to qualify. I'm not a very big fan of the enemy mine genre of episode / movie. So the Enemy Mine is a Dennis Quaid movie with Lou Gossett Jr. where he and Lou Gossett Jr. played an alien, crash land, and they have to survive together and they become friends and blah 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 blah. And I generally go ugh, I already know how this is gonna end. Always with the alien dying. And so I'm going oh, can you make it so interesting for me to get to that ending? And the answer is almost never a yes. And in this case, it was also not that interesting to me. But I can recognize that it is a well-crafted episode. And it gave, we've been wanting Erica to have her kind of standalone moment, and she definitely got that. Mm-hmm. So I'm happy about that. This is probably more of a Paul thing than a actual episode thing. So there's my hot freak.
Clyde, thoughts?
Disagree. No, I get where Paul was going, and to your point, Paul, it's not like I didn't I wasn't quite sure whether or not the alien was going to make it, but I knew it was going to happen, right? From the moment that we realized what it wasn't oh, well, they're just going to hate each other for the next 45 minutes. You knew that it was going to be some type of coming together, some Darmok when the wind blows west or something.
Sure.
But I think it would have
been when the walls fell.
When the walls fell. I think for me, I try not to be. I want to be in the moment, but it's hard when you look at this stuff so much to not think about the meta stuff, the things that are happening outside, right? The fourth wall. Because I'm looking, going, here we are. What? Is this the penultimate episode?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So we're at the penultimate episode. So for me, I'm thinking, well, I know there's only one more episode. what would have been fascinating and break canon, but still fascinating, is if they brought the Gorn back to the ship, right? Like, but I'm like, what does that look like? You know, you've put all the other Gorn in hibernation, so what do you do with this Gorn, right? Like all these things.
You give him a
you know,
nickname and call him Gorny.
Gorny, right? So when I look at that, I'm like, that's what I want to happen. But I know there's only one more episode in the season, and and then I'm thinking like, ooh, could somehow this be the Gorn that Kirk like
Mhm.
connected with? There's all these things, but at the end of the day, I'm like, yeah, it's not gonna happen, and so they're gonna wrap this up, and so they did. But that being said, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. Like
Oh,
I,
I
it had
totally
just a
get it.
little bit of horror, and
Mhm.
It's
I
a high quality
mean,
episode.
and
I can tell. I can admit that it's a high quality episode.
I think if you talk about the Mount Rushmore of one-liners in this episode, Ortega's is on there, right? And so when she goes, I know Pit Monster Sushi works for you, but I need something fried. Like
Yeah,
that is, I
yeah,
was
no,
like
no,
that's
no,
a great line. So
yeah,
I
no,
ultimately I enjoyed this episode.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm somewhere in the middle. There's things that I really liked about this episode, and then I think to like Paul's thing of like it did feel like, oh, I've seen this story before, but in a way that I was almost like comforted after last week. I went, oh,
Mhm.
thank God, we're back. We're in our patterns. I was like,
For sure.
okay, this is the enemy meets arena. Like
Mhm.
I'm here for this. Or an arena part 1, if you will. But I thought like I did really enjoy the performances that Melissa Navia and Celia Gooding gave in this episode. I thought they were very compelling. I think like Ortega's there's a good interview with her in Variety that just came out today talking about this episode, where she joked that like everyone else got to go on vacation, and she's like, I mean, like literally some of the cast like fully left the country because it was just me for like this whole episode.
Yeah.
Along with
The Chapel. You didn't see Mbenga.
And Benga, nope.
You didn't see Scotty.
Pelia
Yeah,
no
no Pelia.
Pelia, not
and
even
Mitchell.
Mitchell, no Mitchell.
The-
Yeah,
the-
which
the-
I
the-
was like, what kind of a dig when Pike was like, oh, besides Ortega, I'm the best pilot on the ship. And I was like, Mitchell seems to do a pretty good job. But and then Warren Scherer plays the Gorn in this episode. And he's played Gorn a few times across Strange New World. So I thought he did a really great job in the puppet and in the suit. Because I will say I loved the practical effects of this episode. It reminded me of The Dark Crystal, which is one of my
Yeah.
favorite Jim
Oh,
Henson
100%. 100%. It
movies.
definitely had Dark Crystal energy.
Yes,
Very
yes,
Dark
it
Crystal
did.
energy.
What
But yeah, it was like, it felt like this is, especially I think if new people are watching Star Trek, this is a formulaic Star Trek episode, and it hits all of those things that I liked to watch in like older Trek episodes. But to Paul's point, is it reinventing the wheel? No. Do I still think the performances were really good? Yes. Did I also have like a small inkling of hope that perhaps the Gorn would make it onto the ship in some way? Would that have been interesting? Yes. But I wasn't. I did have an emotional reaction to when they shot the Gorn and seeing
Wait, they shot the Gorn?
seeing Ortega's reaction to that.
Yeah. No, like I thought, like, I got like, man, La'an does not fuck around.
No.
Erica, bam, 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 bam. It's like 3 shots, tight grouping. Like the Gore went down like that. No chance. like what?
Not even on stun.
I
Full
know.
Like
shoot to
no,
kill.
It
like
was full murder mode, and all she did was trip. Like all Erica did was trip, and then all of a sudden, pop, like the Gordon goes to help her up, and pop, Gordon goes down. And what's really funny is like they were hanging out in like the hut, like there's like imagine you and I are not the best of friends, and all of a sudden, like Clyde comes out and goes, "Hey," and I come out from like my like a bedroom, and then you come out after me. I fall down, and Clyde goes, "Oh no, it's Mariah!" Pap, pap, pap.
Yeah, that would be
It
problematic
was
for
just, it's
sure.
just like it's so in some ways so ridiculous. As I can understand because Gorns are big scary monsters. Laan has her own trauma
Yeah.
with that,
Trauma.
and,
Yep.
and
I think that
but
was something I also wish we gotten, and I think would have helped it elevate a bit more at the very end, is if we had a moment between Ortegas and La'an on the ship. Like, I like that we got the hug and the reuniting and like the funny line of like, "You smell really terrible,"
Mhm.
from Ahura, who I
Yep.
think again had like a really compelling arc in this episode for sure. Like, we literally saw her break the rules to save a friend, and I think that tells you a lot about the type the
See,
person is. But Pike knew.
like here's the thing that I thought was very interesting as in not my favorite, is that I felt that she did not have a lot to play except for one note, and that is like, we gotta save Erica, we gotta save Erica, and to the reverse of that, Una had go like, vaccines, 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 and Spock going, I don't see her, I don't see her, and like everyone is saying the same thing again and
Mhm.
again, and it was like one of those things where I'm going like, huh, like if Una were lost in space or Spock were lost in space, I kind of feel like people would be pushing a little harder. Like I think all of a sudden there's a lot of burden on Uhura to like convince everyone to go, hey, we should stay here until the very end. Like I don't think anyone else came up with an idea of how to
Yeah.
save. I thought that was weird. It was just
I
it was
think
just
yeah. I mean, Spock was working on stuff with Ahura, so I think there's that there. But I agree, it was like odd that like Pike and Una weren't more like, give me options. What's our A, B, and C? In the same way that we've seen before.
yeah, and like
I
even Spock had to be convinced, right?
I did think though that Una and particularly Rebecca Romaine, her that moment where she goes, "I care about her." I believed her. Like I
Yeah,
absolutely,
yeah, no,
I thought she nailed that line. I thought her performance was perfect in that moment, and I was like, no notes. Like I with you. I believe you. I thought there could have been a little bit more of a nuanced kind of tension, if you will, because I got where they were going for, and it was the idea of do you risk the many to save the one,
sure,
right? And she did a great job. So like 4,000, like you've got, children, and they need this vaccine, and we
yeah,
are going after one person.
I
But to
totally
your
get that.
point, there could
Yeah,
have been a like, hey, here's the line. Now, what can we like? Everybody's
yeah,
throwing out ideas up
Yeah.
until that line.
and there was a line. There
Mhm.
There
was a
was.
line, but it's not like everyone's like, okay, we're gonna go up to this line. Everyone's going like, okay,
I
here,
think. No, go
yeah,
ahead.
uh,
Finish.
they're going, okay, we gotta go. It's been a couple of days. She's probably dead. Eh,
So here's my other thing. I had a
Yep.
problem following the timeline of how
mhm,
long this had been happening, because to me it felt like on the ship it was taking hours, but on
mhm,
the ground it
Uh,
seemed to be days, because we're getting like her sleeping and like finding time to play games. And so I was like, okay, but it
hmm.
still doesn't feel, I don't know, the ticking clock didn't feel, it felt shorter on the ship than it did on the planet. Does that make
yeah,
sense?
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
saw it the second time. Like, there's a line that goes like, "It's been 2 days and we still haven't seen anything." It went by really quick
Mhm.
as far as that went. Uh, Although
Yeah.
to be
I was
fair, like,
also like, maybe wormhole is causing some of that, but
oh,
I think if that could have been an interesting thing to play with, of like, if it's shorter time where the ship is versus like longer
oh,
time where
yeah, yeah.
Erica is.
You could have done that too. And in fact, that would probably be really awesome to do that, because that way you could see how her relationship with the Gorn had grown so much
Exactly.
more.
Yeah.
I think that writer's room for you. Good job.
Yes.
I think that would have been really great. I do feel, how should I say? Like there was one point where Erica goes, "Oh no, the wormhole's getting smaller," or "Oh no, the planet's getting bigger. I need this help. Let's play chess or like Gorn checkers or whatever." I go like, that seems. I know why you're doing it, but that seems a little
It felt a little out of sequence, right? Like
exactly.
Yes.
I think it's
Yes.
like you have them kind of bond, and then you set the ticking time bomb for them to
Exactly.
have to figure out the puzzle. Because I saw what they were doing with, like, I understood what they were doing with those scenes, and I think they were
Mhm.
very purposeful and needed, but I do think they were perhaps in the wrong order.
Sure.
Kent has brought up a good from Galileo 7. Una is playing a nicer version of the Federation bureaucrat who kept pressuring Kirk to abandon the rescue mission to deliver the shipment of vaccines.
Which is a good episode because Galileo 7 also laid down this flare that got the Enterprise's attention. Whereas same with same with Erico, like burning the atmosphere off the planetoid. We can talk about that later. But it's interesting because if you accept it all as canon, then what you could surmise like, oh, Spock got this idea from Erica when in TOS, where like he sets up a flare so that people can see. So
That is interesting. I did really enjoy the production design of the planet and the weird creatures, along with the Gorn puppetry of it all. And I have to also continue to give props to Melissa for acting across from what I'm assuming is a silent puppet for most of her scenes, or just like a shadowy figure for any of her coverage, because I'm assuming you're never having that man in the suit when he's not on camera. So
but you're probably like you're probably having like the sound
an
effects from Jurassic
AD,
Park.
yeah, the AD just going.
That's right. Murmur.
A very tall grip that's just like, look up here, look up here.
Yeah,
Like, look up here.
ball, holding
That's
the
right.
ball.
That's
There's
right.
your eyeline. But yeah, I know we've talked a lot about getting more Tegas, and so I wanted to ask y'all: do you feel like you know her character more after this episode?
No.
Interesting. That's a quick no, Clyde.
Well, because it's a great question, right? Like, to me, do I know her more? Let's talk about her backstory. Help me understand like what makes her tick. I didn't get that necessarily. What I got more of she's an awesome pilot, and I got the let's work through her trauma in a way that here she is. She's got all this feeling. She's struggling with this. Now she comes face to face with the enemy who is kind to her. And so now it's like, instead of having this monolithic, I hate all Gorn based on a terrible experience, she's seeing this individual as an individual. That was cool. That tells me about who she is. Do I know more about who she was? No.
Like I learned that she's not very good at chess. Because I mean, she just taught this raptor like how to play chess and beats her 3 times. She doesn't respect other people's culture because she was supposed to eat the bone, but she didn't.
Well, how are you supposed to eat the bone?
Well, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what But I agree with you, Clyde. I think it didn't. Maybe it made clearer some of the things that might have been that we've already known, but I don't think it gave us any depth or width to her story.
Interesting, because I always think like watching how someone reacts in a treacherous situation tells you a lot about the person. And so the fact that she does, like, I mean, to me, it gave it, I think it illustrated a lot about her need for control. Now, could it have been pushed in a potentially more compelling way? Sure. But, from the documentary episode, we learned that Ortegas was like, I joined Starfleet because then it was a variable that I could control about her life. Sure. And so, like, from the moment she crash lands, she's doing the what do I control? What can I have the capability to fix? And like moving through all those logical steps. I do wish we got like a little bit of something of like, I don't know. I know it's also hard when you have a character that's essentially trying to have their internal monologue externally, and maybe that's not how this person actually processes.
No, I mean, I thought it worked okay. It's like it's very the Marston.
Yeah,
they're gonna science the shit out of this.
Yeah, exactly.
Which
I
thought was cool.
Yeah. And I thought it was interesting that, she also went from being like, oh, you study your prey, or no, actually you study your enemy, and then it's the whole my enemy's enemy is my friend, and then it's like, oh no, just actually friend. But it's like, yes, we've seen this trope before, but I think for this character in particular, and also generally, this is probably the most non just in a fight we've ever had character
100%.
development.
100%.
I think I learned so much about the Gorn in this episode,
Oh,
which
sure,
I
sure.
found
Yes.
fascinating.
Yes, that was. I mean, the ability for us to actually see a Gorn, not in a battle,
Right.
but just sleeping, standing, looking,
Injured, vulnerable,
like
playing
that
games.
was
Like, it tells you a lot about like a society that does have games means there's leisure time is incorporated into your culture. And so that's like an interesting thing to take away from this episode, as well as like, oh, they do have female pilots. It's like it's all these very interesting things you're sort of gleaming from their society as a whole. And then the tragic idea, I mean, very Klingon-esque in that way of like, oh, if you are injured and no longer capable, right, like you shouldn't even return, because that is the death sentence if you return without honor, kind of situation. So I think they've done a lot of Gorn world building in this series, and I thought, to me, this was the most compelling Gorn world building we've gotten so far.
absolutely 100%.
Sure. I mean,
And
although,
I like. Go ahead, Paul.
I was gonna say, like, although, truth be told, like, we don't know if this is the norm.
I guess that's true. That's an interesting question. Do you think this was a Gorn manipulated by the Metron, or do you think this was a true? But I think they like the experiment of it being two actual people.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, but here's this Gorn who, probably, like, is damaged, and, like, I don't know what, like, as you said, death sentence in the Gorn society. I don't know, like, what Gorns would really be like in this situation. Like, this could be like, maybe not all Gorns are monolith, or maybe they are a monolith, and this is just one outlier. It's just one person, so I can't make a generalization that I understand the society from this one person.
I'm gonna lean into this is a little bit more reflective, because I feel like if it were a Klingon, there are times where a Klingon would choose like death over collaboration. Like I just don't care. Like, I hate you. You are my sworn enemy, and if it means I die, then I die with glory. Like, that's more of a Klingon. This was a being that looked and immediately tried to save Ortegas when it did not have to.
Well, I mean, it used her as bait first
because she was lonely. Yeah,
right. So I guess that's the thing. The question is, like, is loneliness in a Gorn a common trait, or is it a deviant or fringe
a
trait?
variable? Yeah,
because, like for all of it, like the way that they are born, as set by canon here, like, is pretty rough. Like, here's a brood and survival of the fittest of one. I mean, like, loneliness does not seem to fit that modality. But I don't know. I haven't been to Gorn in ages, so, like, maybe something's changed.
Yeah, maybe something's changed. Yeah, I was kind of obsessed with the communications array looking like a tiny lizard. Did you all notice that?
I did not, but, like, now
production design, so good. I was like, it looks like a little lizard, and its head is the array.
Like, one thing I thought was really interesting, again, is, once again, this season is killing it, is the production value and costumes. What the fuck? Like, everything, like, I go, that does not look like a gas giant that I've ever seen in my solar system, but that is hot. And that Metron outfit,
glowing blue, yeah.
That's like runway fierce in a way where I'm going, like, this is really good.
It was, but I gotta know, what did you guys think of the Metrons?
Metrons are dicks.
Yeah, but I loved that, and like I loved that it was like a very like pardon my French, but like just a cunty little queer man. I was like, live, diva, in your sweet silver outfit, coming down, having the voice of every gender.
They are
You are a
just
being of
they're just
everything.
serving, what they're serving.
I was like, "Ooh, okay, Diva, I see you." Like,
But like,
I laughed.
what I thought was really interesting about the Metron was like, dude, there is like zero remorse in your voice.
None.
None. Like
There's zero, it's a cold blooded person who goes like, yeah, I thought it'd be interesting to see. Uh, oh well.
I mean,
which
oh, I
I
was
was
gonna
gonna
say
say.
go
Go
ahead,
ahead,
Clay.
Mariah. Well, here's the thing that was like, so I waffle back and forth going, did I need that? Like, would have been more compelling to have 2 more minutes of,
Sure.
to your
Of
point,
character.
of character development
Yeah.
of Lon and Ortega's having this conversation on like I could have enjoyed that, but it's Paramount Plus. If they wanted to put that in, they're not held by a 60-minute right. So that's not the issue. But when I look at it from the other side, what I realize is any other time we've seen something like this we're going to bring you in and put you in an experiment in the Star Trek world. What happens is it's a lesson about how they shouldn't do that. It's a morality lesson, and they start to realize that, oh, we shouldn't treat humans or beings like lab rats. Like it's much. And to your point, Mariah, this situation, there's zero remorse, there's no lesson, there's like, even when we have Q has a sense of, I've learned something from you. This was yeah, y'all not ready, and this was fun, and I
But I
enjoyed
think
this,
that
and we may do it again. Like,
yeah, that's Arena is part 2. But it is an interesting idea of like, if we think of like most of the humanoids that we encounter in Star Trek as being these like intelligent beings, and then if there is something more so much more intelligent and like otherworldly than anything we've encountered, then like wouldn't they see us as creatures, and like similar to how we have lab rats, we do science
Sure.
experiments, like these
But
little things.
let me tell you, if we could talk lab rat and they go and
Oh
understand
yeah.
what it would, I could guarantee you it'd be different as
I
opposed
mean, but
to.
is it though? People regularly do harm to other people.
Yes, I understand. So once again, Metrons are dicks.
Yeah.
But like,
there.
it's just one of those things where like they caused this. It wasn't like Erica crashed. You go, oh, let me put a wormhole so that you will crash.
Like,
Like
oh, I'll just suck you up.
it wasn't like it wasn't like, oh, here's just something that happened. Like they caused the events
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
so in this way, like I'm like whereas in Arena, the Metrons are at least like the Gorn and the Enterprise are going through Metron space, and they go, dude, we don't need your barbaric shit here.
Well, they
Uh,
were essentially they were on the skirts of Metron space in this episode, because they say that at the top where they're
oh,
like where odd things have happened, very Bermuda
yeah.
Triangle setup.
Anyway, like Metrons, like not my favorite non-corporeals.
Yeah, they're very, very dickish. Kieran has
Yes,
another
there.
fun fact. The original version of Arena had the Metrons planning to kill the side that won the fight on the
Uh-huh.
planet, not the losing side, and that
Oh,
was changed in the televised version.
Oh, really? That'd be
nice.
dark. That'd be
It's
dark.
Hmm.
very dark.
Yeah,
I I had the other thing I thought when the Metron showed up was, I was like, oh, I wonder if they could just make the
bring
Gorn
back that
alive. Yeah, make the Gorn.
undead the Gorn.
Yeah,
I was
and
looking
like
for
send her
something like
home.
that to happen.
Yeah.
Like it was sort of
But
yeah.
no,
I was doing the exact same thing, right? I was like going like, oh, you could do it, dicks.
They're not going to though.
exactly.
They're not in that
No.
little outfit that they have on.
I mean, compared to what they look like
Play.
in the arena, they really did up the costume budget. Like
Yeah, no, as opposed to
it
just
was runway fierce and not
Not a
like just
silver
a
toga.
toga.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like like for all of it, like in Arena, the Metrons are pretty kind of matter of fact, going like, dude, you guys are in our space. We can't, what, we're just gonna deal with this.
Mhm.
Where this is going like, oh, we're gonna go out our way to screw with you guys.
Well, they essentially were like, we see you both as brutal beings, and we're trying to see if you're worthy of knowing who we are. Essentially,
and if the
Eric-
answer is like, yeah, like they kind of work together, and it was working out, like it didn't need to go down this way. I'm not a pro Gorn person. I'm pretty anti Gorn. So like I'm sorry. I'm just that guy. Like
everyone's got their opinion.
yeah. Like and so like so
if you don't like dinosaurs, okay.
Like if they were to die, it's not the worst for the Federation space, but like I even go like that's messed up, dude.
Yeah. The other thing that's like, and this is just a me pet peeve of all of Star Trek, this isn't just this episode, is they never wear helmets on these planets when they first go out into the atmosphere.
Well, and this is where like again like it's the line there were I had that issue too, and then
but yeah, she's like barely breathable.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know, but I was just like, with these storms coming, if you at least had like your suit on, you would maybe survive through it.
I think about that, but I think for me, it's like, can I just see a little bit, go through the motions just a little bit more to check that the air is breathable? Like, I just give me 30 seconds of you just going, I don't know. What am I going to do for air? Like, I just need a little bit to science it up a little bit for me. I know I'm a science dork, but that would have, you do that for me, and then I'll believe whatever. I can just go with it.
Yeah. And then I think the other thing with the time thing was like when Erica was like, I have to find food. I was very confused. Like, how long has she been wandering away from the shuttle? You know what I mean? There was like stuff where I was just like, I was like, yes, you should find food, but like if you are in like a survival situation, if you have water, you can survive much longer.
Yeah, no. Like, I mean, I think what it is, like, she hadn't eaten since breakfast. And like,
I know. And she was like, bring snacks. And I was like, listen, Erica, I'm on the same page. If I get hangry, I am not a nice person.
But you can survive.
Yeah, I would make it. I mean, I do take stuff for my blood sugar, so it might not be pretty, but yes. But oh yeah, this is another thing with Chippy. I would like that too. Scan the food you've never seen before you eat it.
Yes. I mean, I'm glad they went there, but my first thought was like, hey, you can't, like, as a human, like, you cannot just you just can't eat raw stuff and be like, well, let's just see what happens. Like, that's a bad move.
Yeah.
Right.
I know. Thank goodness for all the brave souls that first ate all of the fruit that we now consume. But someone had to be the first person to be like, I guess we'll crack open this coconut. I guess we'll see what's inside this fuzzy rambutan. Like,
that's like what is this? If I was on that expedition, it's like, Clyde, you want to bite into that? Nah, man, you're good. Go ahead. Like, let me know how that goes.
Well, like here's something like, tapioca is poisonous unless you cook it. Who figured that out?
Someone who did not have a good time.
Well, first of all, there's a lot of stuff. Here's the thing. Biting into raw beef is not a good idea.
I mean, you can technically, but it's like,
I mean, you can, but for most
I do like
people,
a tartare. Yeah.
Yeah. For most people, like, especially like, yes, but even that's not like fresh off the animal, right?
You're talking like someone who's never just like killed an animal and eaten its flesh straight from the. It's like no other sensation
Correct.
in the world. Like,
it is weird when it's still warm.
And then it says like, please don't eat me. Oh, that's my leg. Oh, please. I'm like, dude, I know I speak cow, but like, you're really hurting the vibe here, dude. Moo.
No, I'm good. But yeah. No, you gotta scan stuff.
It would be good to scan. I mean, she had a tricorder, so I'm like, all I need is just one little like boop, boop, edible. Like, great. Not gonna kill me.
That's right.
Not gonna kill you. Yeah, like that would have been great. Like, she could have scanned it and been like, it's probably gonna taste bad, but it won't kill me. And I would have been perfect.
And that feels like such an Erica line, you know?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could use some hot sauce, but it's not going to kill me, you know? Like, um, what else was how do y'all think this stacks up since it does have so many similarities to TNG's The Enemy?
TNG's the enemy. Which one's TNG's the enemy?
It's essentially the same episode, but it's Romulans.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
this one was Jody.
Yes.
Like this one where they're like in the cave.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I like I think they're the same. Like, for me, like I probably like the TNG better because there was a lot more stuff happening on ship. Like if I'm thinking the same episode, this is where Picard is dealing with Tomalak for the first time, and they're kind of doing this like uh politicking all around.
Mm.
And they're on the ship. There is another Romulan who is dying, but like Picard won't give him to the Romulans uh, because of whatever, and then the Romulan dies. So it's just a lot of there was more stuff to do.
It's interesting because that episode is season 3, episode 7, and this is like season 3, episode like 9.
Mm.
So they happen in very similar time periods ish. I probably like, so I'm, I would say they're very close. It's no secret on this pod. I'm a big Geordi fan. But I think what's interesting, and I think in that one, we did learn more about Geordi.
Mm-hmm.
With this one, I got to learn about a character that there's so little information on. That was fascinating to me.
You mean Erica?
So, yeah, Erica, no. But like the Gorn, like here we are. So I say it's pretty close. I'm going to go with recency bias and say sign me up for this one.
Yeah, I thought Chippy in the chat somewhere, I can't find it anymore, said something interesting about how, like, while we are familiar with this trope and this type of episode, there's so many people who are not going to go back and watch TOS or TNG. And so this
Sure.
is going to be their first, like, kind of encounter with this idea.
Yeah, no.
TNG's worth rewatching, though. Just saying.
Yeah, and it's basically can't we all get along episode, right?
Yeah, which is like, yeah, it's an interesting idea of like, not even idea. I think we're often told that everything has to be like black and white, right? Like someone's either your enemy or they're your friend. And I think most people and most things fall somewhere in the middle, right?
Well, I also think that it may be a message that we've heard a bunch, but based on the state of the world, it's probably a message we need to hear again, right? That here it is, where especially now we're in a point where everything's so polarizing. But to be able to look across, I'll say the aisle, and go, this person who I hate, like if it came down to it, we could keep each other alive. Like there is more common than we would think if I sat down and got to play some weird chess and alien jacks, we might be able to work this out.
Yeah. I do think it's also interesting, like essentially in this situation, like Erica, who we would assume is like the, on the side of righteousness and justice, had to really learn to see humanity in the Gorn to be able to survive. And I think that is also like a lesson worth taking here, right? It's like often the people who are painted as your enemies are probably more similar to you than the people in charge want you to think, And I think it's also interesting with Erica's history with the Klingon War and how, like, for lack of a better term, like racist towards Klingons Erica is. And so I wonder if this is also going to affect her thought process there.
She has if you were to ask me who's the most racist in general person on the bridge, it is Erica. Like in season 1, she was pretty anti-Romulan, as well.
Well, we don't have Romulans yet.
No, in season 1 we do, because we go forward in time. A season finale, and then and then the alternate reality, and like Erica is like going like, oh, Spock's a Romulan, kind of thing. Like there's this huge there's a consistency in her character as far as like othering people. I'm just saying, like, that's how it's written. I'm
Yeah,
not.
no, I think that's why this episode, I think, to me, did tell me a lot about Erica and her capacity to grow, you know?
I think that's a very strong point. Like, like, yeah,
Yeah.
I think she probably does. The way the character written, this is like it probably really would have changed her perspective.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's like a very probably common story we've also seen from in like, modern contemporary American cinema about like war veterans, right? And how they are how their thought process is around people that they've been told over and over again are the enemy, right? And like that incompatibility to see humanity in folks who look like people they've been told to shoot at.
Yeah, I
Because I
mean,
think in order to do those things, you have to shut off the idea that this is a human being to do terrible things to other humans.
I think like in TNG, and like a person who a really good moment for that is like Miles O'Brien,
Mm.
where there was an episode where an old captain of his goes rogue and starts like destroying Cardassian stuff, almost starting a war, and Cardassians come on board the Enterprise, and you can tell that um, O'Brien is not happy to have the Cardassians on board. But eventually, like he has this really interesting backstory where uh, the war was the first time he had to kill anyone, and it was a Cardassian. Like basically, a Cardassian was going to jump him. This villager gave him a phaser, set on kill, and it vaporized right in front of him as the Cardassian was going to jump. And he goes like, It's not that I don't like you." He goes, "I don't like what I became because of you."
Mm.
And I thought that was really, like it just goes to show, like in Star
Mhm.
Trek, like there are examples of people going past the war trauma.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Yeah, I think just bring it back to going into the finale. We have a lot of stuff to try to wrap up, and I don't know if they're going to do
We
it in
do,
this
yeah.
season, but yeah, we have the Vesda thing that's still in the transporter buffer, whatever's going on with Batel. Like there's quite a lot to sort of shove into this last episode. Which is New Life and New Civilizations is the title. And I'm always trying to do some digging. So the director is Maja Virilio, who directed two episodes of Picard, a couple episodes of Strange New Worlds over the years, and as well as Discovery, and then a bunch of like Clarice and Magnum PI. She works, but she used to be an editor, and I usually always I like directors who used to be editors because I think they make good and interesting choices. Yeah, Kuhn, that's interesting. Do we think they're going to do another cliffhanger? I know they just started shooting the last season, so season 4 is in the can, but I feel like it usually takes an entire year before we get a new season, unfortunately. Which I'm like, we got to get people on this schedule. Did you like The Pit? Have y'all seen on HBO? Like by the time they ended, they were already writing the next season. They're already shooting it.
Wow.
And so within the year, the next season will be out. So we'll get 2 seasons in the same calendar year. And I'm like, this is how you do it. And they also have 14 episodes a season, I think.
Yeah, but they don't have like like half its budget on VFX.
Yeah. There's a lot of blood, but yeah.
But yeah, and like kind of one location, like one hospital floor location. Lighting doesn't change. Same
Yeah.
people.
I know. I can live in a dream, Paul. I understand how it works.
Okay, Metron.
But I'm saying they already shot it all last year, so they've already shot this whole the whole next season.
I think what happened was season 1 like how should I say? Like when do we know it was going to go 5 seasons in Strange New Worlds?
Like by Comic-Con that was announced.
Yeah, and so like but so I sort of feel like basically around mid season 2 they go, "Oh, we're just going to go for it." And so but by that point they had to set up all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they probably were only gearing for like 3 seasons or something like that, and they just so once they decide to gear for it, like then basically season 4 and season 5 will probably come out more at a pace that you would like,
Yeah.
rather than
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Well, yeah, there's also the strikes and all that stuff in
Yeah.
between. Was a big thing. Um, Yeah, and then the new Con audio series is coming out this month. I think it's already started, so we can maybe jump to that after this series ends because we won't get Academy till early next year.
So what are you talking about? Just for
There's a audio drama about Con that is coming out.
Oh, well, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, we've talked about it on
Me
pod.
either.
Well,
What?
like I don't know what pod you're talking about, but I'm part of Star
Comes
Trek
out on
Discovery
Star Trek.
Pod.
Comes out on Star Trek Day.
I'm part of Star Trek
Day.
Discovery Pod. So
The
I don't
trailer's
have.
already out. It's got the guy from Lost is playing Khan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which guy? There are many
I
guys.
can't remember his name.
Daniel Day Kim?
No, not that one.
John Locke.
Sawyer?
No.
Smoke
No,
Monster?
Sawyer's in a whole nother show.
Anyway, you
It's
guys are
Saeed,
making
right?
me remember
Naveen
things.
Andrews.
Yes. Khan.
Thank you, Choopy.
Thank you.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. Naveen.
It'll be interesting.
No.
I was like, if y'all think I'm critical of TV, wait till you put me talking about a podcast, literally the things I make and get paid to make. So I'll have thoughts. But the
Get your
cast is
popcorn
fun.
ready.
Get your popcorn. Yeah, it's Naveen Andrews, Ren Schmidt, Sonia Cassidy, George Takei, and Tim Russ
Tuvok, okay.
are all in there.
Tuvok and Sulu. Oh
Yeah.
my.
Oh my.
Okay, well
Cool. Anything else to say about this episode?
No, like I think for all of it, like aside from again being very high production value and a worthy canon, a worthy like participant of the enemy mine style, I think it's very straightforward.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I could be like super nitpicky, but it's just I'm just being a jerk for that. Like,
Yeah, I kind of wish it was titled something else just because Terrarium kind of gives it away that there was someone watching the whole time, because I think that would have been a more fun mystery to play out, but the title I think kind of gives it away.
I enjoyed this episode a lot, and I think after the last few episodes that kind of left me like, okay, I'm here for the ride, but not sure where we're going. This felt like, oh, we're back on track. Okay, good.
Yeah, this was the return to the formula I kind of think I needed after a lot of very special episodes. So I'm not, I enjoyed the episode. I think it had good emotional arcs.
Like I'm not entirely sure why this episode is number 9. I felt like this episode could literally be number 6. And I would have had, yeah. And I think
this would have been a really good number 6 episode. I agree with
that. And like, for example, like I'm not the biggest fan of the documentary episode, but I could see how that could be the pen open episode. Like it would be in a place. And a lot of the other episodes, like, I imagine it has something to do with like when they were ready. I imagine, because some of these can be interchanged as far as but
I'm sure this one had a lot of extra VFX to deal with.
Probably, like especially puppetry.
I have a tendency to have high expectations on penultimate episodes.
Do you really? Oh, I did not know that about you, Clyde. Oh my God, I'm learning so much. Yes. It's almost like a terrarium. Is someone watching? Are there Metrons here?
But that being said, I don't know that the documentary episode would have done it for me. Not that this one didn't meet my level, right, of shock and awe of a penultimate episode.
What was this penultimate episode of like season 1 and season 2? I truly don't remember.
I think there are a lot of part 1s and part 2s because like, let's see, last season it was I guess it was Subspace Rhapsody, so the musical episode Into Hegemony. And then the following one was all those who wander into Quality of Mercy. I don't quite remember all those who wander.
All those wander. Isn't that the like Amenga loses daughter episode? Or is that one before it?
No, it's the one there's refugees. They crash the. I think this is where they lose Hemmer.
No, Hemmer's it's the Gordon episode.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
Hemmer.
Yep. It's a
Yeah,
Gorn
see how
episode.
quickly we forget Clyde? All of a sudden,
Yeah.
Belia comes on board, and and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, the blind guy." Who? The blind guy. Remember him?
He was kind of dope. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The ninja blind guy.
Anyway, yeah, it's a strange episode choice for penultimate, but I don't think they've ever really. I think unlike Discovery, which I think is really building that momentum towards the end,
Yeah.
final puzzle solve. It's different, yeah.
Yeah. Word.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes next episode.
Yeah, it'll be
Got a
an
lot to wrap
interesting
up.
ride.
Okay.
For sure.
I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping for like a great climactic explosion of a finale.
I hope so too. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for watching and or for listening. You can find us at StarTrekPod.co. Thank you, Karen, for helping to run our Blue Sky account and for hanging out in the Slack. You can join us over there too, patreon.com/StarTrekPod. Until next time, live long and prosper. Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.